You guys, welcome to your week. I am so excited to have her back. There is so much that has gone on the last 2 weeks, even though my mind isn't properly working yet, because it's 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning in Los Angeles. Sophie needed to record early today, and she stopped, but she did me a favor because she stopped me from getting extremely tanked last night. So I only got a little tanked because I wanted to really make sure I was up and at 'em. So here we are. We're going to discuss everything that's happened in the last week, hopefully, if I remember. But here she is once again, the one, the only Sophie Ross.
Also, to be fair, you wanted to record earlier than usual.
Yeah, but just like a couple hours earlier, like we usually record at 4. A couple hours. She goes, yeah, but to be fair, it was still within like distance of like a normal average night. I don't want to record right now, Sophie. I don't want to record, dude. I'm done. I'm done recording, dude. I'm taking my mic off, dude. I just want to talk with Raquel, dude. Just leave me alone,
Wait,
Patrick.
I love, who's the producer again? Patrick?
Patrick, yeah.
Love him. Love Patrick.
He was so buff that I was like, Tom, he's going to smack you in the mouth in a second.
Yeah, seriously. Also, like, who the fuck do you think you are, Sandoval? Like, he literally was acting like he's an A-list celebrity that can, like, make these demands. And I'm so glad that Patrick, like, stood his ground and was like, no. He was like, if you want to be alone, then sure. But, like, if you guys are talking to each other, you need your mics on.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it works.
Sandoval's only he only wants complete and utter honesty when it benefits him. You know, like he's like, I want to show my life on screen, dude. But he doesn't want to show his whole life on screen. He wants to be able to control the life that he puts out on screen. And also Patrick, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's worked on Potomac before. So it's like, yeah. You're not going to tell Patrick what, you know, if Patrick's worked with Potomac ladies, he doesn't care about you, Tom.
Exactly.
What did you think?
Wait, so like it was very obvious that Sandoval was trying to like keep his story straight.
Yeah.
With Raquel with the mics off. Like that's what he wanted to do, was to recalibrate and get their stories straight before she went out there. So that, and also just a shout out to everyone that came to East Point to watch.
Yeah, what the F? You did a whole viewing
It was so
party
much fun.
thing, right?
I know a lot of people that showed up listened to you, and so many people were like, "Oh my God, Ryan's the best! I love Mondays with you, and Ryan's so awesome." And it was so great to meet so many people, and it was such a great time. I ended up basically they had a Vanderpump menu. And one of the drinks was a Bambi-eyed bitch. And it was like this amazing spritz. And we got pictures of them. And they just went down so smoothly.
Just like Raquel.
We got there. I got there at like 6:30. By the time the episode was airing, I was like blackout. And I'm so sorry.
Did you watch the episode yet?
Yeah, I had to rewatch it. The next day because I didn't remember anything. And I also was like, I also ended up taking a hit of my weed pen after I was already super drunk. So then I just had the spins, but I was trying to be normal. Like, at this bar with all these people that I think like at some point respected me and maybe don't respect me anymore. And then as soon as I got home, I threw up everywhere. So that was my Wednesday night watching the weekend. It was so much fun before I blacked out.
Sophie, that's growth though, because you've thrown up in sinks at bars before.
Yes.
So I think that's huge.
That is true.
Was your boyfriend there with you?
No, he didn't come. But you know what I love about him? And, you know, there are so many things that remind me about him that he's a keeper. But during the episode, he was watching by himself at our apartment while I was at the bar. Like he turned it on and was watching it by himself. And he was like, James is cracking me up. And he was like, Scheana, oh my God. And was like live texting me during the episode.
And Sophie's texts back were just blah, blah, blah,
I was like,
blah,
yeah.
I've done that before. When you get to the actual event part of the night, you're already so gone that it's
oh my God. Those Bambi-eyed bitches went down so smooth. But it was like so awesome. So many people like came by themselves. And
yeah, it's like that's the thing. It's a community of people. And that's why I think, even though I don't support it, I think that's also part of the reason why people are going to these Tom Sandoval and the Most Extra shows, because it's fun to be around a group of like-minded individuals talking about Bravo and like,
Right.
commiserating about this experience, which has been a pretty insane experience. But I got to say, I'm ready for it to be over for this season.
Oh my God. I am honestly so ready for it to be over. I have such Scandoval fatigue, and I'm starting to, and I hate this about myself, but I'm starting to hear out the people that are like, this whole cast, they've all fucking cheated on each other and slept with each other. Why do we care so much about Scandoval? I'm like, you know what? Why do we care? It's been 2.5 months.
I was talking about this with somebody last night. You make a really good point, is that, how pop culture even usually works, even taking it away from Vanderpump Rules, is that eventually it's going to turn back around. And I don't mean turn fully around where we celebrate Tom, but we are going to get to this point, if we're not getting to this point already, where Ariana is going to be taken down from this pedestal a little bit, not because of anything she did, just because people then like, well, why is she getting so much praise? Why is she getting so much praise? But in the past, this has happened, and those people haven't gotten, we're going to start doing this weird thing where the blowback happens, and they're like, well, Tom's not that bad of a guy. Everybody's done this. We kind of like start normalizing this kind of behavior, or question why we were so upset in the first place. And that's why I just want it to be over before that part really, really kicks in.
And that's what Ben and Ronnie and Watch What Crappens were saying too, that like Ariana, they can feel kind of the tides turning, which again, it's not because of anything that she's done. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, even someone up like this, everyone wants to ultimately tear her down.
You see this with, and by the way, I agree in some of the reasons why people are, but like you see this with Taylor Swift, you see this with Beyonce, you see this with like people that have extreme fan bases are celebrated on this like huge level. Taylor Swift, even, this is way beyond Ariana, but you see these things when they do something that is like off kilter, they get blowback so hard because we feel like we've given them so much. I will say this, the last part of the finale, we still have a Secrets Revealed episode the week after, but this is the last 5 minutes, they say, is going to change everything. Do you have a theory on what this big surprise is?
Oh my God. The way that like that was so much of our conversation was people just like predicting.
Yeah.
Like, what is it going to be? My official prediction is that it's obviously, since the cast doesn't know about it, it's obviously during one of the one-on-ones.
Yeah.
So I think it is going to be during Raquel's one-on-one. She is going to admit that the affair has been going on for way longer. Maybe back when she was with James, even. That is my official prediction, that it's been going on for maybe like 2 years.
Okay. So take anything anybody says with a grain of salt, but I have it on very good authority that this is blown way out of proportion. This is going to be a letdown for most people, but it is during the Raquel, and it's not during the Raquel one-on-one. It's during the Raquel talking head that she recorded, allegedly. Like after this all broke, they were still recording talking heads, because they had recorded the talking head for the finale where she was like, I just wanted to see what it was like to have sex with somebody I loved.
I loved because I already loved him.
So they recorded this after all that stuff had been revealed. So supposedly it's in that, and it is the timeline, but it's not 2 years. It's that I believe you'll hear Coachella around that time, but not anything DJ James Kennedy. But people got to chill though. I was hearing rumors. You guys got to just put 2 and 2 together. I was hearing like DJ James Kennedy is abusive, And I'm like, you guys, you idiots. Even if that were to be true, they're not going to reveal that in the last 5 minutes of an episode and then have to fire DJ James Kennedy because, guys, put your heads together. But I will say, I think it's going to be ultimately disappointing because, of course, the fan base's guesses are way more extreme than what is actually revealed.
They kind of bolted up a little too much, where like it's going to be a letdown no matter what.
Oh, I was hearing like crazy, like Schwartz and Sandoval had a blood ritual sacrifice with Raquel in the jacuzzi. Like it's insane.
I also would not be surprised if it came out that Raquel and the Toms had a threesome.
I don't think that would be ever admitted, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Right. It's like we're never going to find out for sure, but like I feel like when they talk about the hot tub night, like
Sandoval bossing Schwartz around, like, dude, take her, dude. Let's show her real pleasure, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do it, dude.
You know what I realized though is that Raquel, and I know that everyone's trying to like diagnose her, like, oh, she's a sociopath. She had no emotion, which she very well might be. I think that she is genuinely, like, as I was watching this episode, I was like, I think that she is like mentally delayed. Like, I think, like, I almost feel
Obviously,
bad.
yes.
This is like a mentally perhaps challenged person who, you know, I don't know. I think that she's like extra, and we know that she's not smart, but like, I think that there's something seriously mentally wrong with her that almost makes me feel bad about all
that's
of
that's a great point, because she even says during this part 2, you know, when Scheana's like bawling on stage, she's like, I should have written her a letter, I guess. I'm starting to have feelings. You know, like she was catching up to the fact. She's like, I never thought about it that way. And I'm like, wait, what? You didn't think about the way that this affected Scheana or any, like, that to me really shocked me. And it didn't come off fake to me. It came off as she was actually saying that for real, which then even worries me on those conversations she has with Tom. And also that conversation she had with Tom where she said, she's like, and we know we're not pathological liars, except for this one thing. And even Sandoval was like, yeah, this one thing's kind of big. Even Sandoval was like, what are you doing?
She was like, we didn't lie about anything except for this for months and maybe even almost a year. So
there were multiple points when Andy said, how did you see this working out? She said, well, I thought they'd break up. We would start dating and everything would be okay. Like Ariana was going to be like, you know what? Okay, I get it. Yeah. You guys are good together. I still want to be your friend. And those parts make me sad because it's like, I pointed out on Friday's episode, it was like me as a child thinking that someday I would be able to fly. Like I would get superhero powers one day. Like, really.
Exactly. It's like not rooted in reality. It's not how a normal adult like thinks or functions, you know?
Yeah. Like, it's delayed. You're right. It's all delayed. And I think we will get an official diagnosis at some point, and it won't be from Bravo fans. It will be an official diagnosis.
From like Raquel's camp.
Yeah. No. I think, I thought you said Raquel's cam, like her cam in the trailer. No, Raquel's, I was like, no, yeah, official Raquel's fan cam. No, I think we will get one from what I understand.
Also, like, wasn't it so obvious that Sandoval, like, didn't realize that Raquel was watching? Like, he thought.
I know. He was like, she was like, yeah, I saw that. He was like, because he was going to be able to tell her whatever he wanted. He's like, you saw that thing about me being physical with Ariana? Like, he reverse engineers his whole excuse. It's wild.
Oh,
I don't know. God. Was there anything else that stood out to you? Because, you know, we are on the tail end of this thing. Is there anything else that you're like, well, what did you think? Okay, what did you think about the green light pulling out the Schwartz pulling out the huge Xanax bottle right at the moment when Raquel comes out? Did you put that any together? Like that was a bit that Sandoval had him do?
No, I just think Schwartz is trying to be like silly, goofy, funny, like him doing push-ups on stage. Like we're not falling for it anymore.
No, see, I feel like everybody still buys that shit, and he's really so annoying.
Schwartz really fucking annoys me now. I can't believe I ever liked him.
Do you know his Fox show premieres Monday?
His what?
He's doing that Life on Mars Fox reality show that premieres Monday on Fox. It's like Lance Armstrong.
On that.
You did? Also, yes. They sent him to Mars with Portia Williams.
When you first said that, I thought you said his talk show. Like he's like the new Wendy Williams or something.
Hot topics, everybody. Hot topics. Get on in here. Let's see here.
Oh my God, Schwartz. And he's going to be on Winter House.
Schwartz is, I mean, these guys fail upwards all the time. And then I was just watching before I got on with you. I was Sandoval, who's now using social media with wild abandon. Before he used to not really use it at all. He was at Lake Michigan. It was like sunrise. He's like, we just did it, dude. 9 shows in 10 days, man. It just feels good, dude. It feels good. He goes, and then he like his band looks like they're literally walking into Lake Michigan. They're like, he's like, these kids are out here just having a good time. It feels good.
They literally have weights around their ankles.
It's like Sylvia Plath out there.
I love when he thinks he's like literally like Mick Jagger, John Lennon, Harry Styles. Like he thinks he is this generation's like it boy rock
Okay,
star.
but what's crazy, Sophie, is that when people have this much belief, there's at least 30% of people that will go there with that person. They'll be like, well, he's talking more confident than I've ever talked in my life. I guess I must follow him. This is how cults start, by the way. This is legitimately, and I want to talk about cults later, but he's like flipping his hair to the camera. He's wearing that, like, his little candy necklace. And he's like, anyways, happy Pride Month, everybody. Happy Pride Month.
I actually have seen like an uptick in not Sandoval fans on Twitter, but like Raquel fans.
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I feel like that's why Twitter is a cesspool, because they just say it to be contrarian. And I think Twitter is sometimes just a hellscape where they want to make people angry and they want to be contrarian and it makes them feel good. It's usually accounts that don't even use their face. And I feel like that's fine because they want their version of Bravo is hellfire and brimstone. Like they want drama, and chaos. Raquel is that chaos theory. The only thing I think with Raquel though is that she's not really fun because there's no tact to it. She's not like a Tamra or
there's literally nothing there.
So it's
there's nothing there. It's like creepy and it's sad almost. Like it makes me feel bad. But did you see that blind item? I think it was a blind item. I forget where, but it was like Raquel is out of her quote unquote treatment facility. And now her and her team are like trying to find brand sponsorships and reaching out to brands.
Yeah, well, this was started by an account. I know exactly which account it was. And I'm not, to me, this is the same BS that we got with the pregnancy. So I wouldn't really put a lot of stock into that. I mean, who knows? I don't doubt that her team will try to make money eventually, but I don't know how much truth to those rumors there are. But I wouldn't doubt anything, but I do think her parents are very active and involved in her life at this point. So I'm not sure how much to believe of that. And I feel like there have been so many rumors that have turned out to not be true. And there's too much good stuff that we can prove that I just kind of like those. I feel like people are just trying to drive clicks their way because it does work. I was talking about that last night. I was at this cancer event for Jared Lipscomb, who actually great makeup artist. He battled leukemia and he's beat that battle. And it was this beautiful fundraiser, but I was sitting right behind Kristen Doute and her boyfriend. And I was sitting behind all of these all these Vanderpump people. And you can tell they're even like Doute was even like, I'd never met her before. And we were talking and she was like, yeah, she's like, people really like when I talk about Vanderpump, but I don't know like what happens after this. And I'm like, yeah, you got to find that weird way to pivot, to talking about the stuff you originally started your podcast for. And her her boyfriend, I love her boyfriend met her after she was even on Vanderpump Rules. So you can just tell he's probably even like, yeah, man, can you imagine you do a podcast with your boyfriend and then you have to keep talking about your ex-boyfriend?
That's actually like, it's kind of sad. And I feel like that's like the downfall of a lot of, not the downfall, but it's kind of like the curse of a lot of Bravo celebrities after they leave their respective shows. They're like, what now? And that's why so many keep talking, like Tamra, like the Twats podcast, like they are so stuck. And I know that Tamra's back, which by the way, I am very excited for OC. But like, they're so stuck because they don't know what their identity is anymore without Bravo. Like, it's kind of sad.
It's weird because these shows are based on their lives, but at the same time, their lives become about these shows and about the whole rigmarole of being on Bravo. I saw the premiere of Real Housewives of Orange County, and I want to also temper everybody's expectations on this. It is fun to see Tamra back. She comes in on a motorcycle in the very beginning, and it's really funny. I mean, it's one episode, so there's not really much happening except that the new character, she's a yoga teacher. She's like, with a new guy. She seems like there's a lot of fun stuff there that's going to be happening, but there's not a lot of action that happens in the first one. You have the end of Cut Fitness. And I will say, though, Eddie's got to chill out. He's like immediately grabs Tamara's ass in every scene. He's like making sex jokes in every scene. I'm like, calm down, Eddie. We get it.
He's trying to beat the allegations.
Yeah, you're very manly, Eddie.
You're very manly.
You're very manly. What did you think when you saw that pic? Did you see that picture on Friday night of Shannon Beador with John, with her ex, with David Beador?
I'm glad that they can be like civil. And he was at the Quiet Woman. But did you see that her kids, like Sophie and Adeline,
they were scared.
They were like jump scare. And I was like, David Beador's own kids.
Well, because they've been such contentious divorce
Yeah.
that it is shocking that they can then smile for a picture. And I love Vicky Gunvalson's like, your kids will be so happy. And the kids are like, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing?
Wait, remember David Beador's naked photo shoot in the woods?
Of course. How? So you guys, if you don't remember, David Beador's, I don't know if they're split up officially yet, but Leslie Beador, when they were first courting, they did a naked photo shoot where they were fully naked, except they put on their hiking shoes after they took their clothes off, and they embraced nakedly in multiple positions. I've almost got kicked off Instagram for this because they posted it and I kept reposting it and it would get reported.
You kept reposting it.
Yeah, it's like Bigfoot sighting. Even Bigfoot was like, "Fuck, I got to get out of here. This is insane. What's happening?"
Ryan, should we like recreate that?
No, yeah. I'll pay for you and your boyfriend to recreate that. Do that at the Mets game today. But it's like, I don't want love
just
like
the
that.
Hiking boots.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I love you can tell they're like care about their feet. They put the hiking boots back on. But I will say, if you have that contentious of a divorce, also I will say, Shannon's a professional drinker. I've said that for a long time. So I have a feeling, and David, I have a feeling they were both pretty tanked at the Quiet Room and Quiet Woman to even get to a point where they took a picture together. Right. Like, I feel like, and John Jansen, my friend Millie, was in Orange County last week and saw, it was last Tuesday or Monday, they were at another place in OC and Shannon Beador was there with John Jansen.
Are they back together?
This is so funny. Millie and her mom were there and she said they looked like they were back together, but because she went up to her and talked to her and said, I'm a big fan, and met John Jansen, and Shannon said, I'm not with him, by the way. I'm not with him. And John Jansen put his arm around Shannon, and Shannon was like, I'm not with him. Kept making a point to say, I'm not with him, but they looked very much together.
Oh,
so take that whatever you want.
I want Shannon to have her happy ending so badly.
I'm John Jansen.
Also, why did I not? I knew his name was John, but John Jansen, Jingleheimer Schmidt.
I love the name John Jansen. And you could tell he had this this bubbling well of anger. He'd always be really quiet. And then he just looked stern. Remember that Bronwyn wedding ceremony with her old dude where they were they had a bottle of booze in the hotel room and they kept going back to fill it up. Do you remember that?
His name? Was it Seth or was it Sean or something?
Sean Wyndham Burke.
Sean Wyndham Burke. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you get that sense that Shannon and John Jansen were that couple that started drinking around 3 PM.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just looked out at the water a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you're excited for OC to come back though, right?
Yeah, I am.
There was no mention of Tamara's podcast, I don't believe. I did talk to somebody that works on OC and said that Teddy is Freddie Mellencamp. I don't remember. She was in a.
Is she trying to get on OC?
Oh, I think she's trying to get on any Housewives show. And, but I have a feeling that will happen down the line too at this point.
We don't want her.
But see, that's the thing. We don't want her so much that we'll eventually get her back on because we talk too much about her. It's
what? I would be less surprised if actually, I would be very surprised. Kelly Dodd has said so many awful things.
I can't.
He's a garbage
I can't go there.
He's talked shit about Heather Dubrow's kids, but I'm saying that someone who is at least hateable, someone that actually brings the drama, Teddy brings nothing. She is just a gnat. She's literally a gnat.
Yeah. I mean but it's a gnat that is persistent, and those persistent gnats eventually bug you enough where you're fine, I'm going to chase you around the house for a little bit and get you out of here. Oh, but I mean, I have a feeling too, is that those people, I'm this is what you have built up right here. I mean, mainly thanks to Tamara. You have a good podcasting. You have a great podcasting audience. You can make a certain living. You can still be around all your little friends. Be happy with that. Don't everybody tries to get back on these shows. And then half the time the shows aren't even that good anymore.
It's literally, that's what I mean. It's like the curse of the Bravo celebrity that leaves the show. They don't know what their identity is anymore.
That would see, Sophie, that's a great article for you to write. That would be a great article. Like, no, I mean, like, think about it. Like studying use like 5 examples of people that have done it right and people that have not done it right. And like, it, to me, that really is that thing that should be studied. I always wanted a documentary about the season after they're let go of the Housewives, because they end up bitching and complaining. And like, Lisa Rinna right now, Lisa Rinna can't keep Beverly Hills out of her mouth.
She's like clearly having like a major identity crisis.
Oh, you think?
So didn't it come out that like she was like, even though they were like, no, she quit. Like, I guess she was officially, like, it came out that she was put on pause, but then she asked to like come back or something.
Well, Andy Cohen has the new book out, Daddy Diaries, and in it he says the night after the Beverly Hills reunion, or when it was airing, he woke, like they were already going to put her on pause, but Lisa Rinna texted Andy and he woke up to the text of, I think it's time for me to leave the show. And Andy just wrote back, I think you're right. And like, but it was a very nice exchange. And then, so he let her have her own destiny. But then when it officially came out or something, Lisa was like, no, that's not true. That's not true. No. And like said she didn't leave that text. It just seems like there was a lot of rewriting and potentially Lisa panicking after the season.
Like backtracking. Because but Lisa Rinna without Beverly Hills, she's a nobody. She's nothing.
But they were going to leave. They were going to put her on pause regardless. Yeah, so as they should. I think it's funny that, now she can't stop commenting about Beverly Hills. And this made me so mad this week. She invoked the name of her poor mom, poor Lois, said she had a dream of Lois saying, don't do that show. It's so bad. It's not good anymore. And I'm like, dude, Lisa, just you can say that, but don't attribute that to your mom in a dream that's like in heaven potentially.
Like, that's so insane. The one thing she came to her in a dream and was like, that Beverly Hills has gone so downhill since Raquel joined.
You see one of your beautiful parents that you miss so much and you want them so much on earth. And they're like, anyways, really don't care about Harry or the kids or anything going on. That Beverly Hills was horrible, huh? What a bad show. I hated it, Lisa.
Insane. That's insane.
It makes me sad. Okay, another thing that makes me sad is Bummer House or Summer Bed. Summer House had its first part of the reunion, and it was really contentious, like we knew it would be. Did you have thoughts about this?
And I think that there are maybe like a couple reasons why Paige is so angry with Lindsay. And I think maybe one of the reasons could be the fact that Lindsay exposed that maybe Craig was hooking up with Kristen Cavallari at the same time that he was hooking up with Paige, and that's embarrassing. Paige. There are like little things, but it just doesn't make sense. And I think it's so funny how, first of all, she was like, I know how People Magazine works.
And Dave Quinn from People Magazine was like, no, you don't.
He was like, no, you don't. Like, this is just, they had professional, engagement shots. And then Bravo was like, this is PR for Bravo. So we are going to coordinate this. She was like, everything they do. First of all, I can't stand Paige's like exaggerated, like fake Long Island accent. She's from upstate New York. Like, it literally doesn't make sense. She's from Albany, I think. Like, stop with the exaggerated Italian Long Island accent. Like, she is so
I was more just bummed out of like the constant pouts, the constant faces. Like,
and that's the thing. It's like she lays in bed all season and then thinks that and it's been the past 3 reunions now where she is just so miserable and thinking that sitting there with like a stank face and rolling her eyes and being a bitch is going to save her job, which this time around it's not going to.
I think I disagree. I think it's going to save her. I mean,
do you think that she's going to be back?
Oh, 100%. Not even a doubt in my mind.
This is our new bet.
Okay. Well, because by the way, you had a long bet just to remind people that Craig and Paige won't make it. And I really do believe that Sophie is going to eventually be right on this. Mm-hmm. I do believe that.
That's right.
But I will say Paige is going nowhere. I really think Paige, by the way, has a deep fandom that even in my audience, I can feel whenever I talk about her, I get a lot of not negative comments to me.
She does. And I think that she's made a great path for herself outside of the show, but the Summer House viewers do not enjoy watching her anymore. So I don't think her fandom is going to save her, because there are so many people I've seen that are like, I am so done watching the bedsore bullies, like just
the bedsore mafia. It's the bedsore mafia.
Bedsore mafia. Like, everyone is tired of them. I don't even think, and I love Summer House, I don't think I'm going to watch next season if she comes back.
Well, don't talk crazy, Sophie. Don't talk crazy. True. You're going to watch.
I know that sounds insane, and it really depends on who the rest of the cast is, but I do not want to watch her. Like, I am so done with her.
Okay.
And her fucking fake Long Island, Staten Island accent.
What a type. Hey, you didn't even I don't know a lot about fashion, but are you supposed to wear a plant the size of your head on your neck? Like, I thought she was conjoined twins. I thought it was a conjoined twin at first.
So rosettes and floral appliques and things like that, whether it's on, a bandeau or a dress or on a choker, that's very in right now. And she is a trend follower, where she like jumps on trends, not pulled off correctly. And I loved how she was like, oh my God, this custom dress. Like, she totally Undone by Kate, which nothing against Undone by Kate, because Paige said it was her vision brought to life. It's just a Norma Kamali Diana gown. So
well, yeah, by the way, I did see your tweet about that, and it was so wait. And then there was this other really scary Twitter account that like took your tweet and said, I'm done with this bullshit. It was like, and then pointed out exactly what you said. And Sophie underneath it goes, yeah, just like my tweet said. And question mark. Yes, I'm trying to remember exactly, but it was so funny because this person tried to serve you back and you were like, yes, that's exactly what I said. And
this person goes, I think they thought I was saying that she literally was wearing the Norma Kamali gown, because they were like, she posted the designer like sketching the dress, but nice try. And I was like, yeah, that's like what I said, was that the dress was kind of like a ripoff. And
people like Twitter Twitter is insane, you guys. Like, you really have to go on. That's why I only post stupid jokes, because if I ever posted anything serious, I don't think I could live with myself, because it's such a cruel place. But
people always try to come for me on Twitter.
Well, you seem like you like it. But
they don't find me.
I can't. I'm too sensitive. Because I will engage and I'll be like, why do you feel that way? And it's okay. But talking about Paige, the thing is, she shows up at these reunions. The thing that frustrates me is, like, if you're going to all of a sudden be awake, why don't you tell us your actual points? Why? Because we know she can speak clearly. So tell us why you think it was Lindsay and Carl that revealed this. She
does not, like, how many seasons in are you and you are not bringing receipts? Like,
that's what why can't you just tell us why you
if you truly believe that Lindsay, first of all, the about Craig getting kicked out of Kymanda's wedding, which I also tweeted
Samantha Bush wrote that article, by the way.
Wrote that article and came out and she was like, I can 100% confirm it was not Lindsay and Carl, who are my sources. Everyone has heard about Craig getting kicked out of Kymanda's wedding. Everyone across the Bravo universe. It was not Lindsay and Carl telling everyone. It was just any regular guest at the wedding. There were a lot of people there, including Bravo cameras. Like, everyone knows it. Why are you more concerned with like who maybe the messenger was and less concerned about your boyfriend's disgusting behavior? He's pushing 40 and this is how he's acting at your close friend's wedding. Like, that is what you should be concerned about. It's like the hypocrisy. She's so about everyone else's behavior not being perfect, and you're dating Craig. Like,
well,
shut the fuck up.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is they all, they now invoke podcasting and Demois are like two of the most talked about things on Bravo at reunions now. And I will say this, Lindsay and even, Lindsay has been up in my DMs a bunch and she never like gives, nor am I asking, but she's not like tipping me off to certain things ever. Danielle actually is in my DMs. She never tips me off to certain things. Yeah. I will say that I know Paige is very aware of how Demois works. Paige is obsessed with Demois. Amanda knows how Demois works. I'm not saying they're tipping people off, but who also is very aware of how all this stuff works? Kyle. Kyle also is very aware. Kyle is like Joey Gorga. He's like a housewife. And that's why I think makes Kyle kind of good, fun to watch, because he's just as in it as the women are in terms of like throwing these things around. So I will say, like, Lindsay and Carl, you can only blame them for so much. I mean, they might annoy you, but like, if you don't have exact proof of why you think they did this, you've got to let the audience know, because you just can't say, I know you did it.
She was debunked by both Dave Quinn and Samantha Bush. So like, why should anyone trust you? And also, didn't Craig come out and admit that he sent that demois about Luke sexually assaulting someone on Winter House?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure that he came in and admitted it when that blind item came out before Winter House, saying that Luke is not being asked back to anything and he's canceled because of the not sexual assault, but like sexual harassment, something
creepy.
And then we watched it, and it's like, I think that he just wasn't really taking social signals and kind of hitting on whatever that girl's name was. That made her uncomfortable. We saw it. I don't think that, it was a cancelable offense. People still love Luke. Now he's maybe getting engaged to Tayshia. Who knows? But Craig like admitted to sending in that blind. So like, why? It's all projection with her and with Craig. It's all projection. She projects. She's saying, you're calculated. You're obsessed with PR. It's like,
and she does all of those things. I mean, well, the funny thing is, as a viewer, I told this to the audience. I said, I want to see so much of her and Craig's relationship on Southern Charm this season. I was like, I pray that Paige is on there, because that relationship to me is so fascinating now, because it is this push-pull of Craig wanting it so badly. And you just don't usually see those roles. You see those roles reversed usually in media, where the woman is begging for the man, and in this you have the man begging for the woman, and Paige going like, of course I love you, babe. If you want to get a couple of your cute little items, throw them in a suitcase, leave them in New York, I'm down for that. It's really fascinating to watch, and I want to see way more of it on Southern Charm.
I feel so comfortable like speaking on this, because I've been in that position before, where a
guy's obsessed with you,
where the guy is kind of, you have the upper hand because you're like, I don't know about this. But the guy is like, when are we getting married? When are we moving in? And blah, blah, blah. And you can tell, because if she really was excited about him, she would be excited about him, but she's not. It's like, I've been in that position before. So I can see it.
Yeah, but I want to see more of it. So that's why I don't think Paige is going anywhere, because I feel like they're placing their bets on even Bravo. I don't know if they think about this long term.
Southern Charm though, like we don't want her on Summer House.
But the thing with Paige though, even she admits, she's like, Craig, you better not, when you do ask me to marry you, it better not be on Bravo. Like, she doesn't want to share her actual life. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to be able to judge, make fun of people. And she's, she thinks she's good at that. And I will tell you, like Maya and Sierra, they really make their stocks go down when they lean so heavily into that relationship. I would love to see a world someday where Sierra actually gets some balls and goes against Paige in some ways. Because
that'll never happen. But that's the thing. It's like the Lisa Rinna Fab Force 5 thing, where it's like, you see this clique that will never hold each other accountable or go against each other. It's not fun to watch.
Yeah, it might be fun to be in the actual reality of that moment, but I don't know. So it's more, and that Danielle Lindsay thing, I just still don't think, unfortunately, Danielle gets it at all. So it's like, I don't think there's going to be any movement on that.
Yeah.
And Maya, I don't know, like our hearts don't really go out to Maya with Oliver, because she kind of kept so much of that private anyways. She broke up with him in a closet. She does all of her scenes in closets.
She was like, take your mic off, or like cover your mic. It's like, you are on a reality show. Like, bye-bye.
You need to get fined. I said, if you take your mic off, that's $1,000 fine, period.
Or you're just fired, because what if
you're fired on the spot.
I probably would be interested in a world where Sierra is just there without Paige to lean on, without Maya, just Sierra just being an independent like person. Like Sierra, Gabby, Sam, I would be down for like that version of Summer House. I honestly would. And I know I haven't been like Sierra's biggest fan in the past, because she's super boring and has no personality, but we saw like glimpses of it this season.
You see her finding herself. I just don't want that to be completely muted by Paige in the bed and all of that stuff.
Right.
Moving on to a couple of other pop culture things. Now, I was really bummed out this week that Jason Oppenheim, one of the bald brothers from Selling Sunset.
Oh, yeah. This was your 9/11, right?
Yeah, this is sad, man. He was dating this 24-year-old European woman that was on the show. I think it's Marie Lou Who or whatever. But anyways, they broke up. It's not going to last. It's not. He says the the difference between them, the distance between them was just not going to work, which is so sad. But don't worry, they already filmed Selling Sunset season 7, so she'll probably appear in that. So you'll get more of this kind of couple that I thought would last for ages. Now, well, so I was bummed about this, but then my heart filled up again later in the week, and I knew love existed because I got a picture of 2 dots that I was told were Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet could like they had a little meetup. But these pictures are grainier. Like this could have been my ball sack for all I know. Like I couldn't even tell what it was, but it was supposedly Kylie and Timothy.
I'm telling you how like everyone is like, okay, I guess now it's official. I am even less convinced now because those were body doubles in my mind. Those were body doubles. And everyone being like, oh my God, Chris would never let the public know that Kylie smokes
Marlboro Lights. Yeah.
They're cigarettes.
Who
cares? Yes, she would. She absolutely would, especially because Timothy is like a French I know he's American, but he's also like half French and kind of
he's
like,
worldly. He's worldly.
He's like worldly, like of course they smoke cigarettes together. Like
yeah.
It's all so calculated still in my mind. Like and none of it feels organic to me.
Well, but it does feel like Timothy is fighting this a little bit because he's like, you can take paparazzi shots, but you're gonna literally need to be up at the moon to take them. Like Kris Jenner has somebody dispatched like 1 billion miles into space trying to get this photo of them walking across a yard. And then we're like, see, there was also a picture of like Kylie's big SUV outside of Timothy's house. But I was like, did they even mention if Kylie's in the car? Like they just said Kylie's SUV, but they didn't show any pictures of Kylie in or out of the car. So I have a feeling Kris Jenner's just like, send that SUV to Timothy's house so we can get some pictures.
Right.
Kylie doesn't even need to be in it.
Like maybe I'm just like delusional and in denial because I'm in love with Timothy, but like I'm still not buying it. And you know, it actually is kind of like a Kardashian. They have been so like, oh, the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. Like they own that, the fact that they're very calculated with their PR moves and everything, that everything they do now feels calculated. Like it never feels, I don't know what could happen for me to be like, that's real, that's genuine. Like nothing ever feels, and have you been watching the new season? Because I haven't been.
You know what? I'm going to do a recap on the Patreon of the first 2 episodes, but I will say it's like the Sandoval stuff kind of like sucked up all the oxygen. And I was noticing like how weird is it that we really don't talk about the Kardashian show. We talk about the Kardashians still a little bit, but it's at an all-time low, I feel, and talks about the fervor behind this family. And even with these Timothy things, it makes me sad more than excites me, but also I'm an older man, so I don't know if it excites you guys.
No.
But do you think, I mean, Travis Scott, do you think this is he's going to like, fuck Dune 2. I'll never watch Dune 2. You're with my old woman.
Travis Scott does not give a fuck.
I know. Nobody sees, but is there a world in which Timothy's like, well, fuck, like, could I see your butt? Like, you know, he's like another girl, like, yeah, I'd like to see you nude. Like, there is a world in which he'd be like, could I see you naked? That'd be cool.
You know what's funny though? Because we will never know like the ratings because Hulu does not release numbers. I was curious though, because everyone was like, no one's talking about the new Kardashian show. And I was like, I wonder if there still is a subset of people that are like religiously watching and like obsessed.
I'm sure.
Maybe. I searched Kardashians, Hulu, the Kardashians. I searched all the possible hashtags on Twitter and like filtered by latest. So you could see actually every single tweet. And there weren't that many. Like compare that to like when Pump Rules or like just anything Bravo airs. There's like The Bachelor, whatever it is. Like there were like a handful of tweets. Like it was very easy to scroll through all of the tweets from when people were watching the show. I guess it airs on Thursdays. So that's like just my clue number 1 that I don't know. I guess, okay, so I'm on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians subreddit and I'm
the only one here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Their season 3 episode 2 discussion thread does have 343 comments. So
is that good for a discussion thread? Is that what are they discussing? When's this over? How many more commercial breaks?
I don't know. I haven't opened it, but I would expect to see I was guessing there would be like 52 comments or something, but there's 300. So that's a decent amount.
Good for you guys. I mean, I just the show itself this week, they had a whole scene complaining about the audience complaining about us saying that they don't reveal a lot. And if you're going to actually have a scene complaining about the audience complaining, that's so but it's also sad. It makes me like bummed out, and it just doesn't. Which I was thinking about. Kim did something like she was like supposedly texting somebody she's flirting with. I also don't care about these like fake little text message scenes where she smiles like, who's your guy, Kim? Like, come on. If this was like, put your, if this, she's professional enough to put her phone away. This is all
what's so fucking funny? That when Kim was like first single, they were putting out all of the, there are like billionaires in her DMs and princes and like oil magnates and, all of these like insanely rich businessmen and rocket scientists, like all of these men chasing her.
Yeah.
And then it was just Pete Davidson. Like that doesn't.
Well,
the only guy that she's been linked to since Kanye is Pete Davidson. So where are all these fucking billionaires and princes, Kim? Huh?
Well, I have this YouTube psychic called Aphrodite that's on the show on Tuesday, and we were actually talking about Vanderpump and Kardashians, and this wasn't even a psychic prediction, but he just said in terms of the Kardashians, who he's studied for years, he just said they just aren't cool. They're just not cool, and they try so hard, but it's like this, it's like. No matter what, they're just not cool. Everything they do now is kind of behind. Like, it's just like, okay.
I think it's just their time. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. It's just, that's it. It's like, they're just not cool. So it's this, don't worry about them because they're all billionaires. So they're fine regardless. But, what they could do with their show and what they choose to do with their show is just not cutting it in this day and age.
Yeah, the tides have like shifted in the fact that like, like all of these young, youthful, fresh face, like Gen Z, like authentic, like that's kind of what people want. And everything about the Kardashians, like I said, feels inauthentic. And I don't know, again, it's like there could be a subset of people that are still obsessed with them. I just don't see those people very visibly online.
Yeah, I mean, you can never count them out. I'm sure everything will, they'll find a way to get back there on top.
And I think that's why Kim is like pushing north. I think that's the reason it keeps them. They know that their kids will ultimately keep them relevant, and it's sad, but like true in my mind. I think that's why she's like north on TikTok, north coming to the Met Gala, to all of these events, and north being a fashion queen. And all
I know Kim does it as a parent to protect her, but Kim's on that TikTok account as well, so it's a way for Kim to stay relevant as well as push her daughter up. So I think that's an interesting way to stay in that public eye, attaching yourself to your daughter.
Right.
On to more cheating. This is interesting. Natalie Portman's husband, ballet dancer Benjamin.
I fell into a rabbit hole about this.
Yeah, Benjamin Millipede, who they met on Black Swan, the movie she won the Oscar for, together after his enormous mistake. The quote was, after his enormous mistake. I guess he hooked up with like a 25-year-old.
Her name is Camille Etienne, and she's a French climate activist named Camille Etienne.
A climate activist?
Yeah, that's like her career as a climate activist, I guess. I fell into a rabbit hole about this.
I wonder if this is going to affect her climate activism. Like if this is going to make her not a good climate activist in certain circles.
Cammy's or Natalie Portman's?
Cammy's. No, Natalie I think is going to be fine. By the way, now it's like team Ariana. It's team Nat.
You know what I love? By
Natalie needed this juice.
Is how French people, like her name is spelled Camille, but French people pronounce it Camille. And then like Roman it's spelled Romaine, like Romaine on Selling Sunset. And they all call him Romaine, but French people pronounce it Roman. And I think it's so funny because I used to work at a French company and there literally was a Roman. But anyway, it's so funny on Selling Sunset, which by the way, I finally watched the new season.
Isn't it ridiculous?
It's so good.
I said it. It's good.
The best, far and away, the best Selling Sunset season ever. And it was all without fucking Christine.
I love G Flip. Like, all right, baby, behave. He's like, yeah, baby.
Oh, sorry. I know that G Flip goes by they, them pronouns.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That was me. I'm sorry. But the way that G Flip kept saying a cheeky little trip to Australia, a cheeky this, a cheeky that, babe,
come paddle my butt like drums. Yeah, babe.
Carl and Lindsay's babe barometer.
Oh, I love it. I love, and this is Pride Month. I love Chrishell talking about energy. Like, I didn't think, but I was attracted to their energy. Like, I love that,
I think it seems very like genuine to me, and like call me naive or whatever.
Oh, there is many more. There's way faker things on Selling Sunset than this relationship. Are you kidding me? Like, I totally buy this relationship.
I think it seems very sweet. Like, Chrishell seems like genuinely in love. When she was I forgot who she was talking to, but she was like, I've made so many mistakes in my life, but this feels like something that I finally got right. And I was like, oh,
good for her. I mean, she's had what an insane dating history. She dated Mr. Schue from Glee for a long time. Whoever that actor's name was.
I remember that.
She dated him. She was with
or something.
Did you
ever watch Younger?
No.
Which is a great show, by the way. If you've never watched Younger, it's like Sex in the City. It's another Darren Criss, so it's like Sex in the City, Emily in Paris kind of vibes. In my opinion, it's just fun and light. And his character in Younger, spoiler alert, fucks a sheep.
I'm in. You just sold me. I'm like, whoa, is that the first episode? How deep into this season do I have to get? Anyway, Selling Sunset, great. Benjamin Millipede cheated on Natalie Portman after 10 years of marriage, and they had just celebrated 10 years last August, and they are trying to work things out. But this is like a pretty big FU. We've had pictures of this girl, but it's another one of those things of these men with families. Like, it just seems to be rampant. It seems to like everybody seems to be doing it.
It's like, oh my God, like Rada gets cheated on. Like, what hope do we have? Like, Natalie Portman gets cheated on. It's like, men will be men.
Yeah. By the way, I hate to break this. It might not even be the woman. It might just be men. It's like, it doesn't even matter who you are. Beyonce was cheated on,
Exactly. Maybe it's the men that are the
problem. I hate to put this theory out there, but it could be men in general. Okay, a couple of other things. Speaking of Darren Criss, Sex in the City this week revealed something insane, that Samantha, played by Kim Cattrall, is returning to season 2 of And Just Like That, but there's wild stipulations on her return. It is only in a phone call scene with Carrie, but she is not, she's not going to have any contact with Sarah Jessica Parker or the rest of the women, and she is not having contact with Michael Patrick King, who is the director and creator. So they already shot her scene in a soundstage a couple of weeks ago, from what I hear, and it's just her on a phone call with Sarah Jessica Parker. So however they edit that, you don't know, but this is wild. And then I think didn't she say in a comment like "Happy Pride," kind of like, I did this for you, for the gays.
I love that about her. I'm so excited. I actually was watching Sex in the City yesterday.
But doesn't it take away from your overall enjoyment knowing how deeply she hates everyone on this show?
It does make you like watch it differently. When you see a scene with like the foursome and you know that the three of them, Kristen, Cynthia, Sarah Jessica Parker, are so close in real life. And then Kim obviously was not. And you do like look at it a little bit differently, but it's such a comfort show. It just feels so cozy.
Yeah.
Me.
My dream, my dream is that Kim Cattrall only does one scene, and it's with Che Diaz. And it's like, Che, you have all the working parts, Che. Like something like really dirty of like, Che. I would love that so deeply, but it's just going to be probably at the I bet this happens at the very end of season 2.
I wonder if it's just going to be like a voicemail or like just something over the phone.
Or what if it's like, oops, sorry, wrong number, and then click, and it's Kim Cattrall just saying, sorry, wrong number.
Yeah, like it could just be that.
I'll take it. Yeah. So anyways, Sex in the City and Just Like That comes back in a couple of weeks. OC comes back this week. What else do we have here before we get going? We had Timothy and Kylie. Tonight, Sunday night, you guys, The Weeknd, Abel Tesfaye and Lily Rose Depp, their show The Idol, which is also done in conjunction with Sam Levinson, the creator of Euphoria, is coming out tonight. It's already gotten horrible reviews, which I don't think will mean anything. It'll probably still be wildly successful. Are you excited to see this show at all?
I'm not even going to hate watch it. It's been critically panned. It's apparently disgusting. There's like Lily Rose Depp with like cum on her face, apparently in the first episode. They call her the human cum rag.
That's what they call it.
It just sounds very degrading and misogynistic, and I'm not even curious. Like, curiosity might get the best of me if I like see people tweeting about it, maybe, but like right now I don't even want to hate watch it because it makes me so angry. And also the fact that they're like Jocelyn. First of all, her name is Jocelyn for some reason. And The Weeknd seems like such a terrible actor. He's like, you're the American dream, rags to riches, trailer parks to mansions. And it's like, we're supposed to believe Lily Rose Depp, who's like the ultimate. That's such a miscast, in my opinion. If you truly want someone that is like rags to riches, it's like to suspend reality that Lily Rose Depp, like the ultimate Nepo baby, is
get Chrishell from Selling Sunset. She grew up in a car.
She literally was born at a gas station.
Yeah, her name was Chrishell, for the love of God. Like, get Chrishell on the Idol. That comes out this week. A couple of recommendations. I don't know what you're watching, but I love
Natalia Grace. Natalia Grace.
Guys, there's a 6-part series on Max and ID Discovery called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. Will you explain this to the audience really quick?
Oh, it's basically the story of this quote unquote, maybe 6-year-old disabled orphan with dwarfism that is adopted by a family in Indiana. And it turns out that she's maybe not an actual child. She might be an adult pretending to be a child, and may or may not be a sociopath. And also, like, the family is really weird. And
very weird.
And I'm only 1.5 episodes in. And I know about this story because I'm like,
you're only one and oh my God.
I know. I need to keep watching it. But I know about this story because it's like been a true crime story that's been, you know.
I remember this on the Daily Mail like 5 years ago, pre-COVID. I remember this story. Like I totally remember this, but I did not know the inner workings. Like I didn't know how crazy the family was. And by the way, it goes way more into this family, but it is insane because they said, okay, this Natalia Grace, they got her and all of a sudden she had pubic hair and she actually had a period. And for a 6-year-old, that is wild.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird. And I will say, you don't know this yet, Sophie, but later this summer, they are doing a additional episode of The Curious Case of Natalia Grace with Natalia. And she says this will be her only place she'll speak of. But guys, it's really creepy. It's really unsettling and it's really in depth, which I love, but it's unsettling at times. So go into, but I think that's, you know, after Scandoval, we're ready for anything.
I'm excited. I also was watching the Randall scandal, which is like
the Randall Emmett story on Hulu. It's okay.
Yeah. And then what else? Oh, we watched Air.
Loved Air. Michael Jordan.
That's the movie about Air Jordans, Michael Jordan and Nike collab.
Yeah, the creation of Air Jordan.
It was really good. I actually ended up like tearing up at one part. So
I loved it. And by the way, you know, and it talks about the strength of Michael Jordan's mother, who, you know, and it's played amazingly by Viola Davis.
Oh, I love it so much.
I will say I saw a poster the other day. They're doing a movie about the making of Flaming Hot Cheetos. Did you see this?
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, guys, like, okay, the Air Jordan movie, fine. Like, that's a big thing that changed the world. Are we just going to start seeing movies about corporations and products? Like, I don't know if I necessarily like
the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. What's like, do I have to see a movie on the, like, who made the Biore nose strip? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
What? Like, we're going to change the world with this thing, you know? Like
the drunk elephant, like serum.
Yeah. It's like, I just don't know. Okay. So, also, wait, I wanted to recommend this to you. This is on Amazon Prime. It's called Shiny Happy People. It's by
the Duggars. That's next on my list.
A documentary, a 4-part documentary on the Duggars and fundamental Christians. But it is so good. I want 4 more episodes. It's the same people who did the LuLaRoe documentary from a couple of years ago. But I think it's totally worth your time to go check that out. The Duggar story, of course, with Josh Duggar and the like fucking insane shit he was doing. It really is. I mean, it's scary in the way Natalia Grace is, but even scarier because you realize it's just wild, but I highly recommend it. And also I'm kind of getting a kick out of, I don't listen to their podcast, but I kind of get a kick of the docuseries of the live podcast tour is Smartless with Justin Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett. And basically they're doing a live tour. Jason Bateman. But it's really funny.
I haven't heard of that.
Oh, you should check it out. It's like really funny. Jason Bateman seems like he's going through some sort of eating disorder on the tour because everybody's like he just comments on what everybody eats all the time. The back and forth between Will Arnett and Jason Bateman is hysterical. I didn't think I was going to like it, and I ended up, it's kind of my comfort show right now on HBO Max.
Oh,
finally, what did you think of Succession?
You know what? Like, I am actually okay with the ending. Like, I feel like they wrapped it up very nicely. And I know that obviously people still have questions. But like, spoiler alert, it ended up going to the one person who like actually had a real job the entire time, you know?
Tom, yeah. So, I mean, but see, that's the thing. That's the thing that bummed me about. Like, I thought they were leading right up to that point where I was like, wow, it's going to be kind of a happy ending where all the family agreed. Nope. And it was like, this show wouldn't do that, but I was kind of almost like, oh, they're going to do that. And I was kind of happy. And that's the only thing that stayed with me this week was that I know Kendall's not a real person, but I was just like,
but you still feel crushed for him.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I wonder if Kendall's killed himself yet. Like, I mean, like, that's what I kept thinking. Cause I was like, and if you watch the director's comments afterwards, Jesse Armstrong, the creator, was like, listen, this is his, you know, this is going to be the one event in his life that stays with him for the rest of his life. He's never going to really do anything of note after this. So the one chance to be his father has kind of completely left him. And it was like this really sad thing where you're like, oh, even the creator's like, this guy's life is from this point on just done. And that made me sad. I actually did listen to the like official Succession podcast, and Alexander Skarsgård was on it, and so was Jeremy Strong, who plays Kendall. What'd they say? And it was very interesting to hear how like there were like clues like at the funeral. So in the penultimate episode, when Shiv is like, oh, Tom's at work, he's not here. And then you see the wheels turning for he's the one working. Where he's like, oh, Tom is a hard worker. And little stuff like that. And I know that a lot of people were like, so Shiv, you know, was like, how is this going to put me in a better position, being the wife of the CEO or being the little sister of the CEO? She wasn't thinking like that. She just couldn't see Kendall win. That's what it came down to, because they had been trained for so long to compete against each other and to think of the fact that like whoever ends up leading the company is the one who has their father's love and approval the most. And she just couldn't see Kendall win or have that title. So she kind of just resigned herself to being the wife of the CEO, which I thought was really interesting. And also, I think wrongly identified Shiv is some kind of amazing woman, which I mean, of course is, but she's just as bad as her brothers in a whole different way. She was not the hero of the story. She had so many faults herself that you saw through the run of that series. They were all, it's like like the cast of Vanderpump Rules. Essentially, they're all horrible people. It's just that, you know, they, even in those beautiful little family moments, like they had it, you know, swimming to the dock and like pouring food on each other, those fun little family moments, they can only have that for a little bit of time. There will always be chaos in that family. Like there's chaos in a lot of our families. And I found that really interesting to dig into, but I'm sad that it's over. I'm sad that it's over too. One of the best shows ever. Shit. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if we didn't, Armie Hammer. Unfortunately, the case against Armie Hammer has been dropped. They're not pursuing the case against Armie Hammer. They said insufficient evidence. Insufficient evidence. The way that he phrased it on Instagram was like, my name's been cleared, everyone. He did the Alec Baldwin, like, guys, I can finally get my life back. And I find that just weird, these declarations. It's extremely famously hard to prosecute cases like this. Yeah. I mean, it is when you're, and that was spoken about years ago. They said that this would not go years ago. So they finally officially said that, but you know, Danny Masterson is going away to prison for a very long time. Thank God. You know, he lost his case. And so he'll probably have to do upwards of 10 to 20 years in prison for the, thank God. You know, which is Scientology, the Church of Scientology for so long was trying to silence his victims and fell off, make it go away. And you know what? I'm very happy for his victims and for everyone that's been harmed by him. And may he rot in hell. Rot in hell. Okay. Rot in hell, Jax. We're going back to Vanderpump Valley. Woo! Are you doing the watch party this Wednesday? Can we shout that bar out? What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, will you be drunk by 9:30? And East Point was so accommodating and amazing. They also got shots for everyone, and it was the best time.
if my body can handle it, because I almost died last Wednesday, I will be there also. So East Point on Avenue B this Wednesday for the part 3 of the reunion. And I know that a lot of people are going to be there. I'm going to be in touch with the bar again about setting it up again. So
did you leave your wallet at the bar? Did you leave anything behind when you had to get out of there?
Only by dignity.
Yeah, dignity. Anything else coming up that we need to know about for you? This has gone way too quick, as always.
No, I am finally getting back into writing after I took a little hiatus because of moving and just life stuff and being very overwhelmed. So yeah, look out for some of my writing coming up. And yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thanks,
and you're going to a Mets game today, so you're being sporty.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, did you go to the Taylor Swift concert last week?
I fucking wish. Even though I kind of hate her right now, I don't like her right now because of the Maddie Healy stuff. At the same time, I'm so jealous and so annoyed of all the people that are like, that was life-changing. That was the most insane experience of my life. I'm like, shut up. Like, sorry, we don't all have $1,200 to spare on a single concert ticket.
It's a lot of money. It is a lot.
I looked at tickets for last weekend, just like I was like, maybe last minute, there were going to be some people, last minute trying to sell. The cheapest ones were $1,200.
And those are like the top row of the whole fucking thing. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. So no, it would be awesome, but no, unfortunately.
Do you even think Taylor's still with Maddie? Like, have we even seen him at any of the shows in the last 2 weeks? So maybe they're not even together anymore.
Well, if they're not, then she better come out and clear it up because her fans are turning on her.
Well, she made a really good Pride. She made a good Pride announcement and did a big speech in Chicago this weekend. So, that's good.
But she's still dating a racist, anti-Semitic, xenophobe creep.
Have a great week, everybody.
Okay, bye.